Sometimes in a document you need to set the document up into different sections because there's different things that you want to do with each part. If you start to set up a document in sections, one of the first things you're going to want to do is come down to your status bar and right click, and you want to click on this section button so that you can see which section you're in. Right now our entire document is just one section. If I come to the bottom of my first page and I tell it that I want to put in a break, and I want it to be a next page section break. Now this first page is section 1, my second page is section 2, and by setting up those different sections I can do different things to my page. I may also want to have a section break before my heading on my first page so that when I set up columns I don't mess up my title. So I'm going to click on a break, and tell it a continuous break this time because I don't want the rest of my text on this first page to go to another page. I want it to stay on this page. So now I have 3 different sections in my document. If I'm in my title, I'm in section 1. If I'm in the middle part of my paper, I'm in section 2, and when I go down to medical consultation on the second page, I'm now in section 3. Now if I'm in section 2 and I want to set this up as columns, let's click on the columns button, and let's say I want to set up a left column. Notice now I have 2 columns of information. My left hand side is smaller than my right hand side because I set up that left column format. But notice when I get down here to page 2, my document still is a full page document, and it's because I set that section up. Now if I click on the undo button and I click on undo again so that I take away that section break that I did for my title, and I tell it columns and I tell it left, notice how it messes up my title. It's because when I undo that and I don't have that section, that page is no longer broken up to do different things. So you've got to make sure that you do your breaks and you do your section breaks so that you can divide your paper in different ways. So now if I go back to columns and I tell it left, I just affect that one. If I come down to this third page and I put in a break and I tell it continuous, and let's say on page 2 excuse me, I decide I want to put in 3 columns, then I can click on my columns button and tell it 3, and now my page is set up as 3 columns. But notice because I did continuous, it moved this title up to this other page, to page 2, and I want it on page 3. I can click in front of the P and I can go to breaks and I can tell it page break, and it will move that down to a new page. Now another thing that you can do in this area right here, you've got your section break in there, but you can also go to breaks and tell it column, undo that, sorry. But that's the way you have your third column set up. So I hope this helps as far as making sense with these section breaks. The main thing to remember is if you want to do something different in your document and you want it to apply to just one section, you have to set up section breaks so it only applies to that particular section.